Yeah, we got set back a little bit, you know, but it's all good. We back at you.
Yeah, we back with it. All right, so just to continue that conversation. So what morals would you say, or what type of things govern your life as far as what would you stand behind and what you stand for, better to speak?
I figure out what's important to me, you know, and whatever's important to me, which is my family first, you know, which include my kids, my mother, you know, my nieces, nephews, you know, like I say, family first. And once I identify what's important to me, I try to identify with what they may think if I do something irrational or illegal that might lead me in a bad situation. But for the most part, though, once I think about that in that bigger picture and that the world don't revolve around me, then I plan to live, I guess, according to the lifestyle I want to live. You know, so those things right there keep me focused for the most part, and also keep me dialed into what's necessary for me to make it and live comfortably out here.
And that's true too. Because I think that a lot of people, especially my generation, has got really, really impressed with the street life, and being street rich is different than being real rich in life. And we're so fascinated with, you know, quick money and not really taking the time to develop anything. So how would you say that how we're handling it, you know?
I don't think you're handling it well at all. You know, it's too much hip hop and pop culture influence. Because that influence, you know, people don't find things that in the pop culture, hip hop culture in itself that are conducive to their growth enough. You know, the things you see on there are more flamboyant things, material things, excessive things that don't build you up or don't help you in your lifetime. They actually influence you or encourage you in the wrong manner. And it's okay to have those nice things, but I mean, you really got to, like I said, put your priorities first and realize, man, this life is much more important than having a fancy pair of shoes from a brand name or clothing from a brand company. Life is much more valuable than that. You know, if you put all your status in those things, you ain't worth nothing.
Right. And why do you feel like that? That's a good question. That's gonna narrate my next question. So why do you feel like we hold brands and, you know, these type of status symbols so high in our community versus the other communities?
Why we hold them so high?
Yeah.
I mean, historically speaking, we was reduced, you know, from being subhuman, you know, throughout history. We weren't looked at as being human. We didn't have a lot of rights. And once we started fighting for our rights and trying to identify with what equal rights and civil rights and human rights we would do, and we trust and believe we were do those things, and we did fight for those things. But at some point, we lost sight of what was important, and we started trying to attach ourselves to things that gave us status. You know, it gave us status. It gave us some sense of belonging, you know, believing that we was about something, if we had something, or if we had some of those brands and stuff like that.
Right. Man, everything that you said, man, they putting a lot of people on game right now, for real.
You can keep it simple though, Devontae. That's the thing about it. People don't understand that sometimes simple is best. I got a lot of respect for them guys out there on the West Coast, man, that still wearing khakis and t-shirts and Chuck Taylor. You know, they know the cost of living is pretty high out there, man. I mean, and they might, you know, I'm not saying they're not status chasers either. Right. You know, you got them everywhere. But I just like that those guys are doing, you know, because they keeping it simple. You know, and that's what it's all about, keeping it simple.
Right. So okay. So one of my last questions is, how do you feel like we can progress from where we are right now? You know, we got this guy in office right now, baiting, you know, another guy. How can we focus on us and just growing together in our younger generation? Because we're feeling like, you know, every day is not promised. We're not living towards anything.
Man, that guy in office, I'm not gonna even give him no energy, you know, because he don't dictate or determine the lifestyle I want to live or what I want for my family. You know, I control that, and I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure my family good. But on the real though, one of the things I want to close with is young guys have to identify with who's what. You know, don't just accept a cat status for being an OG or being somebody that has some credibility or some clout or respect in the game. A lot of dudes don't have that, you know. So because they don't have that, they'll tell you anything, you know, and that's when you get corrupt or get corrupted. You know, you out there listening to some dudes don't have any real status or any clout about himself, or he don't have anything he can say that he's done for anybody other than put some drugs in their hand and send them on a suicide mission, which you're going to get killed or you're going to get locked up. And if you're locked up, you're dead anyway because you're not productive in society. And at that point, you know, you got to quit, you know, striping these guys and giving them stripes and talking about they OGs when they done that. I can say that because I did it, you know, but that didn't mean I was real. That didn't mean I was genuine. When I started providing jobs for these young guys, you know, and I mean, it wasn't like I could, you know, I was providing a career job, but I was providing jobs, you know, a job to keep these youngsters out the streets doing the same thing I did, you know, and I straddled the fence at times, and I felt bad about that at some point. So I think my conscience got the best of me, and that's why I'm so willing to give back to these young guys and get them some information that's gonna help them build. You know, I ain't gonna give you no bullshit, excuse my expression, but you know, y'all gotta hear from somebody who's been through it. You know, I don't want you or anyone else to go through what I've been through. And just because I got, you know, a clean shaven face and I done shaved my head, that don't mean I ain't went through it. You know, I got the background to prove it. You know what I mean? I had a lot of time to sit down and think, almost 2 decades of being incarcerated, and it gave me a lot of time to think about what I wanted y'all young guys to learn through me. Because I always say I live vicariously through y'all. You know, I love to see the skill set and potential that y'all have, and see that y'all have so much energy and so much excitement about life. But you gotta control that. You gotta control anything, man. You gotta know how to vent. You gotta know how to reach out when you got something on your chest you need to get off your chest. You know, and find people you can talk to without feeling embarrassed, humiliated, or feeling vulnerable that you're gonna expose some weakness about yourself. You know, that's man or woman. That's even a chick that you're dating. You know, if you're a guy and if you're a woman, that's the guy you're dating. You always find somebody that you can call a friend.
Absolutely, man. Man, I'm telling you, people gonna love this because it's you don't get this a lot, you know, especially, you know, growing up and there aren't that many male figures or any black male figures. You know, a lot of kids that I grew up with, you know, they cling to their coaches, and you know, any male figures, it's like they searching for it, but they don't know that they're searching for it. You know, they trying to look for that dad figure, that OG figure in every person that's older than them. You know what I mean? So that's real. And I think this is gonna conclude first episode of OG Talk. Devontae Jerome, Mr. West, signing out.
All right, now, y'all take care.
Yeah.